Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another glorious interview with another glorious creative human being. It's a very special one this time because I am sat with and speaking to my publisher, which I absolutely love. I'll never ever get tired of saying my publisher. My publisher, the lovely Lottie Begg, who launched the indie press Lemon Jelly only last year, so it's still quite a new press. And last summer, so this is being recorded now in January 2026, and then I think it was during last summer, maybe a little bit earlier, there was a call out for submissions for novellas, and I sent my book over, and delightedly, after being asked for the full manuscript, Lottie and Lemon Jelly Press said, yes, we would love to publish it, which is amazing. And, that was the whole beginning of this actually now being in my hand. Yeah, beautiful, my beautiful book, which is out maybe, well, actually, no, when this comes out, it will be still available to pre-order, but it's published. The story of the Dear Woman is published 2 weeks today of recording this, February the 14th, 2026. So if you're listening to this or watching this after that date, you can go and grab your copy and be reading it probably over the next couple of days. And we'll go into a little bit more about people's experiences of the book so far, because I'm beginning to get some advanced reviews. But I want to say hello, Lottie, and welcome. Thank you for agreeing to chat with me today.
Well, thank you. It's always lovely chatting to you. So
Oh,
looking forward to it.
thank
Yeah.
you. So let's begin by I'm very curious about why. Well, first of all, I've never even asked you this actually. Why the name Lemon Jelly and why have you set up a press? Because that's no small feat, is that?
Yeah. I guess the name, there's no like big secret
Okay.
behind it. I just liked that it's a bit quirky and bright and fun. But as lots of things in life, when looking back in hindsight, I kind of get that it mixes something that's quite hard to digest. Lemon, it's sour, right? It can be punchy and edgy in something sweet. So it's a bit like that spoonful of sugar with the medicine type thing. And yeah, looking into it, I think that's what I really want to do with Lemon Jelly Press is get those like maybe harder to digest and read and empathize kind of stories out there, or not just the stories, the authors and the writers as well. So we're all about amplifying unheard voices and marginalized voices. And if we can do that in a way that appeals to a lot of people, even better. So
Love
yeah,
that. I
that's
didn't know
that's the
this.
name. Yeah. And why I did it, I guess I've always been drawn to it. It started, I did a online degree with Open University in creative writing this years and years ago, pre-COVID, and I launched a poetry journal
Hmm.
because I just wanted, I don't know, I just like the idea of getting other people's work and showcasing it and creating something. And that's when I started like publishing, but it was more like a hobby.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, so that all stopped. I ran that for about 5 years. I worked in libraries, so I've always been drawn to literature and books, and have a passion about it. But I guess last year I turned 40 and I just thought I want a project for me. Like I want to do something and commit to something and really make a go of it and see how far I can push it. Um, and yeah, that's the beginning of it, really. I just wanted to get my teeth into something that I was really passionate about. So yeah, that's why I started it, really.
Beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that. I think it's the same with anything and anything creative, isn't it? Whether it's writing a book, whether it's starting a press, whether it's running a business, you've got to
Mm,
have that passion. Like you say, something to get your teeth in.
yeah.
I just like that image. anyway. It's
Yeah.
because that's got to sustain you because it's not always easy, is it? And I know it's
No,
a lot of
no.
work and there's a thousand
Hmm.
that you need to do. And
Yeah.
obviously, I guess as well, when you're dealing with this was going straight to this question, which isn't on the list of questions that I prepared. I suppose that whole process of dealing with rejecting people as well, isn't it, is a big thing. You're just thinking
Yeah, and
about that now.
that's not one of the highlights.
No, I'm sure. No, I'll get
But
that out of the way first.
yeah, and I did write an article on Substack about this actually,
I
that
read it. Yeah, I
even
remember.
when yeah, even when you're rejecting a piece of work, it's not rejecting them personally 99% of the time. It's because it's not a good fit. It's a bit like anything. It's like dating or something. Like some people are great, but they're just not for you. It's not a reflection on their worth and their value.
Well, that's very nice
It's
of you.
yeah, but I mean, sometimes it is, don't get me wrong,
I
but
was going to say, gosh.
majority of the time, most people aren't a great fit, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's a really good way of putting it.
especially if you're a bit quirky and weird and, like I am and the press is. So, um, yeah, but I think even when you're saying, really sorry, can't publish, there's always some positivity you can give them.
Yeah,
Like keep going, try again, work on it, whatever it is. And it's really nice getting emails back from those people saying, thank you, that's such a lovely rejection.
that's
So,
so nice. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah, it
I know for
softens the
myself
blow.
as well. I mean, this is the thing of, rejection is part of it when you're putting yourself out there. And
Mm,
I've had some really good rejection letters, and ones
yeah,
that have offered feedback when they've said, they don't really give feedback, or they've said, you're
yeah.
before you said yes to the story of the Dear Woman, it was actually still on the table just as they're making a final decision for another press. I can't remember the name now.
Okay.
So to get that feedback was
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
And I've had that
yeah.
with other stories as well. And I think it's really helpful. And then, of course, you can get the
Mm,
generic ones as well, which you can tell is just a generic one sent to everybody. We really
mm,
love your story, but it's not suitable for our thing. Keep going,
yeah,
Yeah. And I understand it was like loads and loads and loads of submissions.
yeah,
Um, but I remember where I was when I'd sent you the full manuscript. That was exciting. And it was a nice
yeah,
day in
yeah.
Manchester because I was actually at a little local park, Mayfield Park. Any of you that are in Manchester know it. It was one of those nice days, and I'd gone quite early actually thought I'd go and get some croissant or something in the supermarket and juice and go and sit there this early morning. Not that early for me. And then I got your email and remember reading
Yeah.
it sat in the park and like, oh my God, this is
Uh,
exciting. So I want to ask you, why did you pick my book? Because I know you had a lot of submissions.
yeah.
Um, and obviously it's a curious question. I've never asked you this actually really either, as to what was
I
it that you
guess,
saw or that kept you.
yeah. I think it was so unique in the plot and also the way it's written. And it was just the kind of thing I was looking for, something just new that I hadn't really, read before or read something like. I absolutely love the kind of fantasy, fairy tale, folklore kind of thing to it. I'm really drawn to that. So another good thing about having your own press is choosing work that you just like, you love, as opposed to a larger publisher where they're thinking, right, is this commercial? Are
Mhm.
we going to make our money back on it? And of course, all those questions are really valid when you've got such a huge press. But I think the one of the benefits is going to like an indie press is it's the people behind the scenes are just passionate about writing and about what they love, and it gives us the freedom to publish what we love without that kind of fear of oh, is it commercial or loads of other people gonna get it? And I say loads of other people as in the general market without, focusing down on certain subgroups of people and things. So yeah, I just loved it. I can't, it's just when you pick up a book and you read it and you're like, bloody hell, that's amazing. Yeah. And it's for you. And that's the experience I had, so I wanted to publish it.
Oh,
Yeah,
hearing that, that's so beautiful. And the fact that, well, of course, you need to be literally on the same page, but kind of
yeah,
your support in then, going through the whole process of then the editing and having that kind of similar vision, is
yeah,
so, so important.
yeah, yeah.
And how the book, it's so fascinating, the whole process. And I've really loved, I was talking to a friend about this the other day of, and I've always had this really, and more than anything, I'm just really curious about every single part of the whole process. There's a
Mm,
curiosity of learning,
yeah,
like whatever happens with the book. I mean, I have a book now, it's actually out in the world, it's coming out in the
yeah,
world, but it's a real book.
yeah.
I'm a published author, but the whole process of every single part of it. And right now, pre-book being launched, just a few weeks before, we're still learning. There's still new things that we're
Yeah,
both doing because for you as well, though you've published, I think, children's book and poetry before.
yeah,
This is your
yeah,
first
correct.
adult fiction book. That's
Yes,
right, isn't it? So
yeah,
that's a big thing for you as well.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's been a learning curve, but definitely enjoyed it.
And we're a
So
good team, aren't we, as well, I think.
definitely,
Yeah.
I think maybe I got that as well from your submission. Like I will like this person who wrote it, the face behind the story. And I think, yeah, it's yeah, we get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Um, so one of the things that you said quite early on, I thought I'd just ask you this, because I'm getting some interesting kind of like, in the kind of reviews that's starting to come in and kind of a bit of feedback. It's very
Mm,
curious. I mean, that's a whole other thing of like I've been
mm.
saying to Lottie, like this, we're just starting to get some reviews back in, and that
Yeah.
place of that uncertainty of not hearing, even though
Yes.
your book's out there, and it's not about, it's not about I want really good reviews. I want honest reviews. I want to
Yeah.
know what people liked. I want to know
Yeah.
what they didn't get, so that people then, we all read reviews, don't we, to pick something up and to know if
Hmm.
it's for us or not, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Um, um, but you said something quite wild, which I actually kind of really held on to because I liked it. You said it reminds you of Killing Eve or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And
What
I
did you mean
think
by that? Because that was like, oh, I like it. And
just
Hinge, fabulous.
how refreshing and a new angle on female relationships it was. I don't think there's enough of authentic, gritty female relationships out there in media, so film, TV, books. There's, it just it reminded me of that authenticity, and nothing's glossed over. It's almost like a feral obsession with this other woman. And so that's what reminded me of it. And it's almost like it's a bit cliche to say love hate. It's not love hate, but it's two polar opposite kind of feelings that pull the reader or, the watcher in to it. So yeah, that's why it reminded me of it. It's very female centered and
Yeah,
focused. Um, yeah. And just the uniqueness of the characters, I think.
yeah. They were such fun to write and to just kind
Yeah,
of play with, and just getting into their minds and their worlds more, particularly going through the editing process and going deeper, putting pieces
yeah,
together and adding things as well of, because it's such a it's fascinating building characters and building their
mm,
worlds and where they go. I'm just thinking, like, do you have a favorite bit? Like somebody, this won't necessarily and this might be a spoiler actually, but whatever. Somebody said to me that they can't get the image out of the head of china cups on antlers. That's all I'm going
yeah,
to say.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I had the same, didn't I? Because I said, "Oh my God, I want to paint that." When
Paint it.
yeah, and I haven't got round to it, but it's still in my many tabs
Yes.
open in my brain.
Yeah.
That it is just an amazing vision, and how the woodlands come alive in that like almost reality, but not quite reality kind of way. Um, yeah, I'd definitely say that's a highlight as well. My other favorite bit is the ending, so I'm not going to say what it
Mm,
is, but it's so like visual, like you can see
mm.
it's cinematic, it feels really an amazing ending to the story. but what isn't the ending? As we know, his last chapter's the end, question mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
And
like,
it's one of the things that I've been thinking, because obviously now we're running a workshop this coming
yes.
Thursday, which actually might be in the next few days if I actually get this video out in time. So do come along because we're going to
Good.
be talking more about
Yes.
this because that's
Yeah.
one of the things that it's only become clearer to me as I've been sitting with the book now. It's so interesting, isn't it? I think we do
Mm.
something, we write stuff or we create something, and then it's maybe like you were saying about the name lemon jelly. It's only a bit afterwards that we realize what part of us was
Yeah.
doing that we weren't necessarily conscious of.
Yeah.
And one of the things that is really interesting to me is what happens after the end.
Mm. Mm.
Especially kind of fairy tale. It's a fairy tale, but it's not a nice fairy tale. It's kind of it's
Well,
someone's called it
fairy
very
tales weren't
unsettling.
nice, were
No,
they,
this is
originally?
it. Very, very
So
true.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
always interested as like what happens afterwards.
Mm.
Um, they don't live happily ever after. No
Mm.
one lives happily ever after. And
Yeah.
in a way, this book is kind of the story of what happens after that happily ever after that could actually maybe sours and goes wrong and kind of
Yeah.
falls off its axis, and
Yeah.
kind of the impact of what could be one of those like, oh, that's a kind of strange little fairy tale story, but oh
Hmm.
shit, it's got these repercussions. One of the
Mm.
things that somebody said to me, that I read the book, that they like the fact that it's these kind of characters that are not real, and they've got their own kind of fantastical worlds, but they're set in a real place. They're set in Manchester, which is the
Hmm.
city where I live, which is a very gritty, urban, northern
Yeah.
UK city. And this person was saying that they really enjoyed the bits of realism that were very
Yeah.
comedic, like the body shop being mentioned or the Antiques Roadshow, things that are
Yeah.
modern details that kind of
Because
keep
it
you.
pulls you
Yeah,
out of the fairy tale
yeah,
when you're reading it and you're like, oh, I'm back in reality, but in a good way, and then you sink back into it. And yeah, it
yeah.
works really well.
And it is fun kind of putting those bits in as well, as to kind of like, there's
Yeah.
something about mixing those two things together is
Yeah.
I really enjoyed kind of doing that. So I wanted to ask you about, I'm going to my questions now because we've had a nice
Yeah.
chat so far, and I just kind of want to come to have a look. Um, so yeah, what kind of stories are you most attracted to? Like, what are your favorite books? Actually, this isn't on there either, so I don't know why I even came up with these questions. Like, what's your favorite? I've never asked you this question either. Like, what do you like, favorite book ever, or favorite kinds of stories?
Yeah, I think I've got such a mixed taste, right? So I'll start with that I sometimes, the way my brain is, I love nothing better than a really trashy book about something just like Kardashian type
Okay.
trash. Like it's awful, but I love it because
Yeah,
it's escapism.
yeah,
And I also say there was like a period of years and years where I didn't read because of the PTSD that I suffer with. And I've written about that as well. It literally stops your frontal cortex being
yeah.
able to understand written work. So for years, I didn't read anything. Um, and I'm getting back into it now, but I'm kind of finding my way. And it's almost like it's a bit like medicine. It has to be the right kind of thing to read, not because of my taste in books or genres, but what my brain can handle, if that makes sense.
It
So
makes
I've
so
been
much
reading a
sense.
lot of like nature books and things like that because I know nothing bad's going to happen. It's, that kind of thing. Um, and I also love picture books as well. So my latest one I bought was a retelling of Hansel and Gretel by Stephen King.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it wasn't as gory as I was hoping. I was hoping a bit more like horror, but I just love reading that. And I took my time reading it. And yeah, so there's that kind of element of it. Um, there's a book I love that I can't remember the name of. I think it's called Into the Woods. I'm gonna
Like, didn't they do a
have a
musical of
look.
Into the Woods? That was really slam.
Maybe, but it might not be that one. It's got the woods. Yeah, it's coming up. I
Ah,
will have to find it out and let you know. Maybe you can add it as a note. But
totally. Well, the Hansel and Gretel one, you're making me. Oh my God. Oh, see, now I'm getting like, let's collaborate. This is my ideas brain. Let's collaborate. Look, because Lottie is an artist. Oh, let's write some horror and you do some illustrations, make them really gory. Let's do a series.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we can
yeah.
talk about that. We need to just focus where we are with what we're doing now. But I love getting this. Well, it's really interesting, isn't it? Comic books and graphic books. Like one of my favorite books is, I don't know if you've ever seen it or come across it. You know the author Audrey Niffenegger? Don't know how you pronounce her name. She did The Time
Mm.
Traveler's Wife.
Oh, okay.
She wrote that. She's extraordinary person and really odd. You'd really like her. I've seen her talk live with Jeanette Winsome years ago in Manchester, and it was she was talking about like she has on her writing table. She had a writing table, a skeleton that's just sat at her writing table with her, and
Ah,
she's very interesting. And she's written ballet. She's very kind of multi whatever that word is, creative person.
yeah, yeah.
But she created this book, which I actually have on my shelf because it's one of my favorite things ever. She's an artist as well. God, you'd love her stuff. You'd absolutely
Show
love her stuff.
me, yeah.
Um, but her book, it's called The Three Incestuous Sisters,
Ooh,
and
that does sound cool. I want to read that.
it's the story, and I think she took like 11 years to create it because she went to Japan to learn like wood block, whatever it is. I'm making this is
Wow.
all not coming out at all correctly, but a particular kind of like way of printing. So the artwork is, I mean, I could just tell you now, are we allowed to do this? I mean, I can do whatever I want, can't I? It's all Zoom.
Yeah. And I found the book I was on about. If you
Good.
want to know it,
So this
it.
is her book. You know, it's a bit kind of sideways.
Oh, wow.
But,
Beautiful.
that's what is that? Candle
Yeah.
wax. But it's let me just find like it's so like
Amazing.
he kind of spent all these years, maybe even longer than 11 years, I think, learning how to do those, to do that, to do. But
Wow.
it is absolutely beautiful. So those kind of things, like graphic comics, and I've always loved comics. I used to love Wonder Woman
Yeah.
comics, and I'm drawn to I used to love the Sandman, even though Neil Gaiman now
Yeah.
it's all a
Okay.
bit ouchy. And then Junji Ito, who is also mentioned actually in the story of the Dear Woman, and I
Yeah.
love his stuff as well and his mind. Um, it's so fascinating this whole world, isn't it? I think it's
Yeah.
not as I don't know, is it as celebrated? Maybe more so these days.
Mm. And I think it's a definitely like feminine centered kind of genre. That's how it feels to me. Like, and that's what I try and I'm drawn to. So the book I was trying to remember is called Through the Woods, um, by Emily Carroll. So yeah, that's really good.
Nice, write that down.
And it's gothic kind of fairy tale stuff in there. But yeah, so I think we're both on the same page with what we look for and what we enjoy.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, which is great. And I also think, you were saying earlier about like stories that don't quite fit, and all this. It's
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it? Because I think where we are now, I mean, for me, I wanted to go with an indie publisher. And
Yeah.
for those of you that are like, what's an indie? It literally means independent, so it's not one of the big
Yeah.
five main traditional publishers.
Yeah.
Um, and there are so many now indie presses and small publishing houses, and it's really amazing. And I think
Yeah.
that opportunity now to be able to have your work um, published through a small press and the kind of detail that's given, and then you're supporting other creatives.
Yeah.
It's very interesting you're saying about the commerciality in big traditional
Mm.
publishers. Sure, of course, it's a business. I mean, it's all a business. This is your business as well. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if we're going to both retire from the story of the Dead Woman, but who the hell knows? It's an A24 production company. If you're somebody's listening to this, make
Yeah.
this to into a movie. Um, Sorry, I got distracted by a small fly. But I do think now there's more and more, I don't know, odd stories or more kind of
Yeah,
fiction written by women that's not nice. And I've certainly been reading more of that stuff over the last few years, and it feels really
it's
exciting
so
because
refreshing, isn't
it's
it?
it is
And
refreshing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, more of it, please.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm wondering if there's anything else that um anything else that we want to share about the story of the Dear Woman. Um, like who's it for? Like who would you say the story of the Dear Woman is for? So if you're listening to this, obviously I hope you will, of course, immediately go and buy the book,
Yeah,
which the
everyone
info to
should
do so
read
will be. Yes,
it.
absolutely. Oh, yeah. So that's the thing. I know I've just asked you a question,
Yeah.
but so some of the reviews that we're getting back, it's so interesting hearing. We've been such a bubble with this, so to start
Mm,
to hear other people's reviews, and again, just to say that after you've read the book, please do submit reviews. It's really important, especially for small
mm,
presses and for new debut
definitely.
authors. Reviews really help other people to discover the book. And like I said before, real reviews, on
Yeah.
Goodreads or Amazon. I know it's a bit like that, but or anywhere kind of, to put reviews, that
Hmm.
would be really, really helpful. So thank you. Um, One of my favorites was somebody saying about like the book reminded me of a kind of like the eroticism of a kind of Hunter S. Thompson, kind of that the women aspect in there, which really pleased me
Yeah.
that there was a
Yeah.
psychedelic aspect to the book, kind of like
Hmm.
an Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of that could dreamy, kind of unsettling that really pulls you in. Like some really beautiful,
Mm.
actually has some really beautiful reviews and a kind of quite a bit of this is unlike anything that they've read before, which I really pleases me as well. It's like, hello, welcome to my brain.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's like, and I always think writing in general is about connection, even if it's just with ourselves. Like we said, sometimes reading back our work, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what I was thinking. But I think that kind of validation and connection to other people is so human, and we all have our different creative ways of trying to connect. And yeah, I think through this kind of genre or type of writing, it feels like women trying to connect to other women. What
Mm,
I find is new-ish with words, and yeah, it's just exciting as well and refreshing and new. And so going back to who it's for,
mm,
I'd say, yeah, if you've listened to us chat for the last like half hour and you think it sounds interesting, go read it.
yeah,
It's yeah. But even like one of the reviews we got back, they don't usually read this type of book,
yeah,
but she thoroughly enjoyed it. So even if you're not used to it, go give it a read, I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Step into this world. I'm such a big believer of, and I speak about this a lot, and of magic, and not like the
Mm.
kind of Paul Daniels kind of magic,
Yeah.
but the sense of like everything can be magical. And I think today, when our attention so much is drawn to the horrors going on in the world, and there really are, it's just
Yeah.
unfathomable what's going on, and our phones pulling our attention all the time, which I'm very guilty of, and the ability to be able to kind of move about our day and actually first of all be present enough to notice magic. I think that's the big thing. Be present to notice the light kind of hitting something, or
Yeah.
walking through a city and you've got like a half a tree growing out the side of a wall. I love stuff like that.
Mm.
Or the glint of a pile of rubbish even sometimes can look really
Hmm.
beautiful, or what coat that someone's wearing. And for me, it's a really like, I hope to inspire people in some ways to be able to kind of notice that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than just kind of be lost in their own kind of dull, dullness
We
of the
need to be
mind and the
reminded
fear.
to do it, don't we? And it's
Yeah,
such a shame. Like that's what modern life has done, kind of dulled everything down around us. That is magic. But
yeah. And this is where the
yeah,
fairy tale aspect as well, even though it's
yeah,
not, I mean, there's such a massive topic. We could do a whole other conversation around the aspects of fairy tales, which we'll look at a little bit more on the 5th of February for
yeah,
our chat.
definitely.
If anyone is listening to this and you would love for me to do something or to speak around any of the things we're talking
Yeah,
about, obviously please get in contact. I'm really open to running events or even places to have book launches around country to run workshops. Um, yeah, I that would be
definitely.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, so I just one more question really. What's next for you and for Lemon Jelly Press?
Well, we're kind of really focused on the Dear Woman at the moment, as we should be. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Um, Submissions open again in April. What seems a while away, but it's going to come round really quick. Um, so yeah, looking forward to that. Focusing on more adult books, hopefully, and poetry. Um, and apart from that, there's lots of community things going on, workshops in schools, women's writing groups, things like that, because we don't just like publish work and very much community focused where I am, on the Isle of Wight. So yeah, it's busy, busy doing lots of little things, and then hopefully when submissions open, be fully focused on that. And yeah,
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me today. And I'm really excited about the next part of our journey and also just so grateful that you saw something in this story and believed in it enough and went, yeah, let's just run with this and see where it
yeah,
goes. It's been yeah, and my first book. So yeah,
yes, yeah,
wonderful. Um, so I will put the details if you want to check out Lemon Jelly Press and um, everything that Lottie kind of offers as well, and follow her on Substack. I'll put all that information down below. Obviously, I'll put the details for you to purchase the book,
hmm
and I'll put an email as well if you want to contact me about any of the things that I've said about running anything for you around the themes that we've been talking about. Um, oh yes, I always ask two questions at the end
okay,
of um this.
yeah,
Let's see if I can remember them. I can remember one of them. I think because I didn't do one of these interviews last month for the magazine.
yeah,
So while I try and remember the other question, the one that I can remember is if you were to take yourself out on an artist date, the kind of Julia Cameron artist way,
hmm
going out on an artist date, but it's an artist date for, because this magazine is the Pleasure Alchemist, like to kind of reconnect with your pleasure or your desire or your kind of aliveness, let's say.
mm.
Where's the place that you would go? What's your kind of ideal kind of artist date that gets you feeling your juices going again?
I think living on the island, the coast is so important. I'm so drawn to it. And I used to live right on the southernmost point of the island and on top of a cliff. And I'd look down and it was St. Catherine's Lighthouse. If you Google it, it's the southernmost lighthouse. And there's a bench there and just the sea, and it's so windy. And you can't help but just be consumed by the elements because the wind is roaring, the sea is roaring, the sky is so open and usually you go up there, there's not a soul around. So I would take myself up to that bench with a mug of tea, what I used to be able to do, just make a mug of tea and walk there. And yeah, that's where I put myself. Yeah,
Oh my God, the wildness. I can feel it. It's really touching me.
yeah.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I can't remember the other questions, so we're going to leave it at that because that's a
Awesome.
gorgeous image. Thank you so much, Lottie. And
Thank you.
yes, and thank you everybody for listening. And do let us know what you thought of this conversation or any questions you have for either myself or Lottie. Do put them below.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.